Today I will be discussing on Civil Services Conduct Rules 1964. It is a very important and relevant topic. Every central government employee should be aware with these rules. The central civil services are concerned directly with the union non-political executive administration and is the permanent executive body of the federal government of India. Every civil servant should possess the quality of being honest and should have strong moral principles. He should have loyalty and enthusiasm to duty, should not do anything which amounts to unbecoming of a government servant. It means he should behave in appropriate manner. Even neglect of wife or family by a government servant amounts to unbecoming of a government servant. He should behave in an independent and impartial manner in discharge of his duties. His behavior in both public and private life should be responsible, courteous and decent. He should aim to resolve public concerns promptly. He should follow proper lunch timings and should aim to set an examples to others. He should also report facts of arrest, conviction in criminal cases with respect to any government persons under their jurisdiction or with respect to himself. He is not expected to participate in political demonstration and should maintain political neutrality. He should act absolutely as per government policies. He should interpret the government policies correctly and implement them on ground in a letter and spirit. He should give respect to honorable MPs, MLAs while speaking to them or addressing to them. He should observe high regards to them. He should not be discourteous, dishonest and partial by delivery of his duties as government servant. He should not practice or propagate touchability in any form. He should aim to suppress such practices if seen in official decorum. Constitution provides a right to form association, but he should not or associate himself with any banned organization. He should always work for sovereignty and integrity of India. It should be his prime concern. His no act should harm the sovereignty and integrity of India. He should not participate in any strike. He is not supposed to take up any private work while in government duty. He should not take or give, even propagate dowry in any form. There is a tendency amongst government servants to use political influence in service matters like posting, etc. It should be avoided. He should not encourage use of drugs or drinks while on duty. Every child has been given right to education under the Constitution. Therefore, no children below 14 years of age should be employed. It is punishable offence. He should avoid anything which amounts to sexual harassment of women at workplace or otherwise. Under the CCS conduct rules, there are things have been given which amounts to misconduct. Therefore, while on duty, his any work which harm prejudice to the image of the organization or head of the organization amounts to misconduct. He is not able to live or work happily with the colleagues on duty. If his behavior amounts to not safe in public interest to retain him in service, if his behavior is not trustworthy, he is not able to maintain secrecy, if he is susceptible to attract something wrong or silly, if his behavior is abusive in routine working in office, if he does not obey the direction of his superiors and at times insult them directly or indirectly. Any conduct of him which amounts to theft, fraud or dishonesty. His no action should cause any financial loss to the government. He should not take part in strikes, gheravs. Even he should not aim to incite others to participate in such acts. He should not participate in riots or any disorderly behavior even after the office hours. He should follow punctuality in attendance and follow the leave sanctions. He should report a matter related to conviction by a criminal court related to himself or with respect to any colleague in his office. To bring more accountability and good governance, government has further brought amendments to CCS conduct rules in 2014. Most of the things we have already discussed, but government has further strengthened the rules to bring more efficiency in the government. Things are same, but certain things are added and elaborated further, like government servant should commit himself to and uphold the supremacy of the constitution, his work purely in accordance with the Constitution of India. He should defend and uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India. His prime aim should be India's first. He should promote principle of merit and in an impartial manner. He should follow transparency. His aim should be to be responsive to public and particularly to weaker section of the society. He should show his concerns towards the issues of weaker section of society and should take proper steps to resolve them, to address them. His behavior in both private and public life should be good. Even the behavior with his wife or family, if bad, amounts to unbecoming of government servant. He should take decisions solely in public interest. More to say, what is most economical to the government, his decision should be according to that. He should aim to use public resources very efficiently and economically. At times, it may happen that there is a conflict of interest in his private and public duties. Whenever this happens, it is aimed that the government servant should declare his private interests which are conflicting with public duties. While in duty, he should not place himself under any financial obligations directly or indirectly which influence the organization. It has been seen in MES that certain officials sign the loan papers of banks, and at the time of default of individuals, bank approach to the organization to repay their loans. It is not allowed to any government servant to sign such papers and bring liability or obligations to the organization while performing his duties. His any work should not amount to bring or drive any financial or material benefit for himself or to his family or his any close relatives. He should make decisions in objective manners and his decisions should be based on the merit of the subject rather than with influencing with any partiality. He should not discriminate among anybody, whether it is on caste, creed or economical backgrounds. He should purely work while in government as per the rules, laws of the land. It is his prime duty to respect the law of the land and work as per the law and enforce the law. He, while on duty, he should maintain absolute secrecy. At times, he may come to any subject which is of strategic importance and its knowledge to others may harm the sovereignty and integrity of India. Therefore, it is his prime duty to keep secret of such subjects. He should work in a professional and dedicated manner. Apart from these general principles which every government servant should follow, he should also require to maintain a proper decorum with respect to his personal life. Government, to bring transparency and good governance, has made rules that any government servant going for any personal transactions related to property and other things should intimate the government and take prior permission, so that a fair and transparent governance can be ensured. Therefore, whenever he is joining any course of study in his private capacity, he should intimate the government. If he is aiming to participate in any publication of newsletters, books, etc., he should always intimate to the government. Any government servant while in job is not expected to take any private work without permission of government where any fees is involved. He can take work on social front, but not for monetary benefits. He should intimate the government about his immovable and movable transactions time to time as per the rules provided. At times, it is seen that his family members are involved in certain business, and government servant propagates their business while in office hours. It is not allowed at all. He should not propagate any business owned by his family members while in office hours. There are certain activities which government servant not require permission. It can be said that these are the rights provided to a government servant to bring his moral high and to feel him confident while delivering his duties. Therefore, if any of his service grievances are there and he has represented well in advance to the authorities for redressal of his grievances, and if these grievances are not resolved, then he has every right to approach to court or CAT. He may go for publishing in bona fide discharge of his duties. Even he can take any social or charitable nature of work, but he cannot take any work which brings monetary benefit to him. For example, even he may participate in teaching of students, he may take part in sport activities for his fun, he may even submit memorandum towards the pay commission in his individual capacity. Every government servant is expected to intimate or take prior sanction of government whenever he make any transaction out of own fund. These transactions are of two types: immovable property and movable property. Immovable property is related to where the involvement of land is there, whether it is purchase of house, whether it is construction of house, any shop, etc., in his own name or in the name of his any family member, then he should take prior permission of the government. However, whenever he goes for any movable transaction, he is not required to take prior permission, but he should report such transactions within 1 month if value exceeds 2 months of his basic pay. At times, certain family member of him may do any transaction out of their own fund. These transactions may not be required to intimate it, and family members getting gifts, inheritance and Stridhan are also not required to be reported to government. Certain items, the list is not exhaustive, but certain items highlighted which are covered under the movable property such as jewelry, insurance policies, share security and debentures, loan, purchase of car, all are covered under the movable property. Earlier, for Group A and Group B officers, the limit was 50,000. For Group C and D officer, it was 25,000. In February 2019, government has enhanced the limit and it has made 6-month basic pay if total amounts of sale/purchase exceeds 6-month basic pay, then the government servant is expected to report the transactions. Otherwise, it is not required to report the transactions related to shared security and debentures if they are less than 6 months basic pay in a financial year. As we have seen that transaction of immovable property requires prior permission of the government and movable property not required government's permission, but the reporting is required. But if any transaction even related to movable property is done with the person having official dealings, then prior permission of the government is must. At times there is a doubt in the mind that whether construction of house is amounts to movable property or immovable property. It is clarified that construction of house amounts to immovable property, for which a prior intimation sanction of government is required. Even the expenditure on repairs exceeding 10,000 is also required to be reported. For movable property, the transactions should be reported within 30 days of the date of transaction. The authorities are also expected to communicate the sanction of the transaction within 30 days of receipt of request. If it is not provided within 30 days, then it can be treated as deemed sanction. There is another aspect which every government servant should keep in mind while delivering his duties, that he is expected to declare his immovable property every year which he has already acquired over the years. In MES, all Group A officers are expected to submit their immovable property returns IPRs to the ENC branch, and Group B officers are expected to submit these returns to CRO. However, Group C, Group D officers should submit these returns to their respective commands. In the immovable property returns, he should include all the immovable properties acquired, leased, mortgaged in his own name or in the name of any of his family members. Government is so particular about the submission of immovable property returns that if a government servant fails to submit it timely, his vigilance clearance may be withheld, or at times disciplinary proceedings may also be initiated against his default. Every government servant is expected not to accept gifts, even not to propagate acceptance of gifts by their family members. In Indian customs, the gifts are unavoidable. Therefore, certain customary gifts at the time of wedding, anniversary or religious functions are allowed from their near relatives or personal friends. But a government servant should not accept any gift from a person having official dealing other than those provided in the rules. If gifts accepted from a person having with official dealings, then a limit has been provided by the government and there should be a prior sanction by the government servant for accepting these gifts. It is expected to maintain a list by a government servant about the gifts received while his marriage, anniversary, etc. However, he should keep in his mind that gift received by him should be commensurate with the financial status of the donor. This is also a very important aspect, that what is the definition of family members. It is seen that at times certain government servants makes mistake in reporting their dependents. Their parents are government servant doing their business, good business, and even though they were declared as dependent, which is not allowed in the CCS conduct rules. Therefore, government has clearly defined who is called dependent. In the 7th Pay Commission, the minimum basic pay has been fixed as 18,000. Therefore, 50% of that amount, that is 9,000 rupees plus DA, is considered as monetary limit for the dependency. His dependent members includes his wife, parents. A female employee have choice to declare either her in-laws or her parents as dependent, son till the age of 25 years or till he starts earning, whichever is earlier, daughter till the age of her marriage or till she starts earning, dependent, divorced daughter, sisters or widow are also called dependent irrespective of their age limit, but their earning should be kept in mind as given earlier while definition of dependents. Every government servant is expected to follow punctuality during office hours. Any act of willful absence of an employee until unless it is regularized is called unauthorized absence, and his period will be declared as dies non. This period will not be counted for the purpose of his increment, leaves, for his qualifying service for pension. If a person participate in strikes and absent from duty unauthorizedly, then this amounts to break in service. To elaborate further, dies non service means no work, no pay. If a person not join the duty on a particular day and his leave are not regularized, then he is considered as dies non and no pay will be given to him. Any government servant has the right to form association as per the Constitution of India, but he is not allowed to participate in any strike, dharna, etc. There is no statutory provision which empowers the government servant to go on strike. If a person goes unauthorizedly on any strikes, then his absence will be considered as break in service. Even it is not expected to sanction his CL or any kind of leave if it is known that person is going to participate in any strike. To conclude it, a government servant is expected to maintain high integrity and good conduct at all the times, whether it is in public life or it is in private life. Thank you.